everyone, here at Reese's. Just wanted to do a little video to show you guys how I work with vinyl and how I make different kinds of shirts. So actually I'm making something for my son, and he loves, well, he doesn't really play Fortnite, but he loves the dances in Fortnite. So I was thinking I wanted to think of something cute, and I was thinking about how he loves flossing. The flossing dance. I don't know how to do it, so don't ask. But I thought flossing in the new year would be something kind of cute. So I created this design on my Cricut, which is what I use for everything. Here, I'll bring this down a little bit. So I created this design. It's all grouped, but I'll ungroup it to show you. I basically took the silhouettes of, someone doing, flossing, and I put all these different little New Year's attributes in it, like a little sparkler, New Year's hat, aviator glasses, the mask, a little drink. And I thought it would be really, really cute to do flossing in the new year, because he loves, he's getting a little older now, and he likes to wear like theme shirts, but not too much. He's getting a little cool for school. So I thought flossing in the new year would be fun, and he would really enjoy it. And I showed him the design, and he loved it. So I'm going to make this. I already created the design, but what we normally do is you have to make sure and measure out your shirt before you do so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the front here, and you have to use your best judgment. So, obviously it says I can go up to 12, but I don't want to make it 12 because it's going to also stretch out throughout the entirety of the shirt, and then it's going to look humongous, and it's not going to look correct. So I'm going to do about 10.5 inches. I think that's going to be a good size. So now I'm going to go over here, and you can group it. It's already grouped, I believe. Did I group it all? Yes. So it's already grouped, so I don't have to do everything individualized. So let's see. Now it's saying that it's 11.99. So that's basically 12. We don't want that. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit to about, I think 10.6 would be okay. And now it's also 10.8 going down. So I normally don't have to double check this, but if you want to, if you're doing it yourself. Now, to me, I feel like it could go longer because the shirt is bigger. I don't want it to be wider, but I do want it to be longer. So what you're going to do is you're going to come back over. There's this little lock box. You're going to unlock that, and you're going to drag it down a bit. As you can see, it changes the number over here, and it doesn't change the integrity of the image. If you go too far, then yeah, it's going to look too stretched out, but that's up to you and how you feel with your image. So I think I'm good here. I'm at about 12 and about 10.5. And I'm going to be using gold vinyl and black vinyl, flat. So, and especially when you're doing something with very intricate little tiny itty bitty pieces that are going to get cut out, it really is better to use flat. Sometimes even when I'm doing glitter vinyl, I will change it, and I'll do the items that are very small in the flat because it's just easier to weed out of the vinyl. So now it's all ready. I'm gonna make, whenever you're doing this, you always have to mirror your image when you're doing an iron-on. If you're not doing it on a shirt, that's completely different. So what you do is you're gonna definitely flip the image, and I always they're supposed to make it to where it's gonna save you the most vinyl, which looks like they did, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's kind of silly. It's such an easier way to save some of the vinyl, and they don't do it that way when it automatically does it. But let's see. All right, so this is good. This is good. All right, so we're gonna continue. Actually, you know what? I'll do the black first, being that that's the easier one to do. And you're going to, it's a little tight back here. We don't have tons of space, but we do it what we can. I'm gonna use a strong grip piece here because it is gonna be cutting out a lot of little small pieces, those little tiny pieces that I'm going to be putting on the people. But it all depends. You can use You could probably use a regular grip too, but I'm gonna use the strong grip. And you wanna just make sure that it's all lined up. You're good to go. And then you're gonna feed it into the machine. Yep, because it says continue. Oh, connect to the machine. Oh, my machine wasn't on, so now I'm putting it on and it's connecting. So let's see. Okay, setting the material. That's obviously, if you've never worked with a Cricut, you probably have to really watch a tutorial on the Cricut, but you would go to iron-on, but my needle, it probably is due for a new needle, to be honest. So I'm gonna actually make it a little bit, I'm gonna bring it up a little bit more so that I wanna make sure that it actually cuts through. And the needle is what's here. That's what basically cuts your material. And then you're gonna hit the cut button. And you're basically gonna set it and leave it alone. So in between, now that's gonna take a few minutes to cut. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back when everything's cut, and then I'll show you how everything's placed. And that's it. Everything's cut. So now we basically are just setting everything up. I just wanted to show you how you have to weed out. We did everything else, but I figured you might want to see. So what you want to do is basically take the trim, and you don't want to rip it. You want to do it nice and easy, just in case you don't want to, if something wasn't cut fully on one end, or, and you're basically going to just pull it out. I mean, the image is there for you. If there was, like, let's say an O, this wouldn't come out. You'd have to use a weeding tool and take it out. But just so you could see, and then we got all our little extra pieces over here, and those will be layered on top. So now what we want to do is basically gauge the shirt, and I think it's pretty much in a very good spot. I just got to fix this in. Got to double check on the ear, make sure that this looks good. All right. So I'd say this is pretty good. Now you can use an iron, or you can use what we're going to use here. This out of the way. Actually, I should have put this on. This is the Cricut. This is the Cricut. It's like a little portable press, and it goes up to 360. We're just going to let that heat up for a second. And then we're going to do our first layer. We're going to use this, press it on the front. I usually like to use some kind of parchment paper, just as a, you know, just to be 100% sure. I have some bigger pieces, but this is fine. As long as you just put something over it, just to protect that if the vinyl came up, you know, if the one piece came up. All right, this is still thing. And then as you can see, we have these little pieces. Oh, see, now I gotta actually use a small pick, because as you can see, there's a space here that we need this taken out of.
My jacket.
So we're going to press the first layer. Now with this piece, you can basically just like push down, put your weight into it. You want to make sure that you're applying a decent amount of pressure on each area to make sure that it's down. I have a regular heat press, which is what we will use after everything's already been placed. Being that we're doing layers, you have to make sure that you press good in between each layer so that you don't have a problem with lifting. But if a shirt ever does lift, you can use a piece of parchment paper, put it over it, and usually reactivate the vinyl that way. So that's what we normally do. This should be good, but you'll know once you pull if it's not. Yep, see, it's coming off nice and easy now. There we go. But you don't want to just rip, you want to pull nice and easy, just in case something did not adhere. Then you'll pull the vinyl, and then you'll have to take the vinyl off the shirt if you can, if you have the proper tools. If not, then you basically got to junk the shirt. And that is very upsetting. So this is all good. Very good, very good. Okay, so that's coming off. And, all right. We're good, 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 and good. So now I'm going to take those little pieces. Oh, I also forgot to put the exclamation point. This is a little hat that I made, so I'm going to add that over here, and then let's see, let me get my scissor. And then you're basically just going to place all these little things wherever you had it on your shirt. You can change it if you want. I'm putting them right there. I have to put one more piece of on top of that little hat, but all right. This little guy had this one. This had the glasses. Okay. And he had the sparkler. Okay. This is for the top hat. I'm going to have to do that after, gently. All right. And you also want to make sure that none of this clear vinyl is like laying, let's say, on top like this, because if you do that, you're going to apply the vinyl to the plastic, and then that's going to get messed up too. So you need to make sure that when you're placing it, that you don't do that. It happens. It does happen, you know, even to the best of us, but you just got to make sure. You got to make sure to double check it. All right. Put this a little bit over more, actually. Okay. Oh, I'm being a little anal retentive right now. I'm sorry. I don't like the way this is sitting. Do this again, and being that these are little pieces, again, I'm going to say it one more time, you want to make sure that you do not pull up very hard on the plastic coating that is holding the vinyl, because if you pull too hard and it is not adhered correctly, you are going to be in big trouble. You're going to ruin it, and it's going to be very hard to fix. I can't tell you how many times I have had to scrap shirts. It is not fun. It is not cost effective. So, heed my words. And also you want to make sure that you don't press the iron onto the actual vinyl. You will melt it. You have to have a piece of parchment paper in between. Something must be in between it. Just going to pull this down. Yep. All right. Garbage. And gently. Okay, especially when you're dealing with very small pieces. Okay. More good. And good. All right. So now I just got to put this one tiny little piece for the top hat. Now, what I'll do is, after that, I'll just put it in my regular heat press for another, like, maybe a few seconds, maybe like 10 seconds. All around each piece, just to make sure it doesn't. You want to just make sure you get all around the corners, because that's the place where vinyl usually peels, if it does peel. But if you take your vinyl shirts and you wash them in cold water and hang dry them, you really shouldn't have a problem. I mean, I've had my children wearing their vinyl shirts, and the only time anything ever started to peel is if they wore it to death. If they were constantly wearing it and, you know, being messy, and then eventually it starts to peel a little. But you can, like I said, you can use the parchment paper and you can put it on top again and just reactivate it. All right. So that's your finished product. Flossing in the new year. Super cute. And that's what's fun about when you're making your own shirts. You can basically do anything you want. And if you're not creative and you don't want to do it, just come to me and I'll take care of it for you. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'm going to try to do some more of these with different items that I do.